Welcome yet again to the Sage. Thank you for continuing to be with us and for sharing our journey. These last few weeks and the weeks coming before a vital election are indeed exciting weeks. And for us on the show, exciting times. We are doing our utmost best to support the movement towards getting the very best people in leadership positions in this country. It is something our country needs so much. And so in line with that, what we hope is a noble objective, we are bringing before you people like you and I, but people inspired and courageous enough to come out, to vie for positions, and to serve. We would like to know that their primary intent is to serve for the common good. And so in line with that, to help all of us be wise as we use our votes, we will do our best to bring before you these courageous set of people, group of people who have put themselves forward to serve our country. For each person that comes, we tell them that we will listen with rapt attention to see the principles, to see the leadership principles which drives them. A few months ago, on the Sage, we put out a call of action. And we called on our fellow Nigerians that this time around, it shouldn't be business as usual. That people we elect into positions at all levels be people who are truly willing to serve, people who love this country, people who are going there for our common good. We pleaded that we put our divisions aside, that we love this beloved country in action by doing what we need to do. And we asked the electorate to vote. Only vote for those you genuinely feel have those qualities of leadership that demonstrates love of country and a genuine willingness to serve. And so in line with that, we are reaching out to many people aspiring to positions. In the last few weeks, we've talked to some for governorship elections. We shall be going far and wide. Today, on set, we have two amazing aspirants. They will, before you, tell you, portray to you, try their best to allow you to see whether they are indeed the type of leader we need at this critical point in our history. Stay with us. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Sage, and thank you for continuing to stay with us. I think at this point in time, I need to make a public disclaimer. Let me assure you that the wonderful guests I have on set today, this is the very first time I have met them. I have no political affiliations with them. I am not here to further their agenda, and therefore this is the first time we have ever met, and so on. And so it is our attempt to cast our net wide and we owe no allegiance to any political party or to any person. And so we are trying to get from various political parties. What is important to us is that despite the platform on which the candidate is contesting, let it be the genuine thing. Let the candidate be the best person qualified and suitable to serve our country. And so, based on that platform, I have two wonderful young people. They are young compared to me, on set today. First of all, I have Juliet Ikhayere, a wonderful young lady. This one embodies everything I want as I aspire to empower young people. And to support women. So, when I saw her name, like I said, I didn't know her before. I said, that's the type I want. A young lady, and a young woman, bold enough to try and reach for the skies. Juliet, you're welcome to the set.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
And I have also Olanrewaju Osho, older than Juliet, but much younger than me. A wonderful person. So it's a pleasure, a privilege to discuss with you and to give you this opportunity to talk to our audience and tell them about your political ambitions. But before I ask you questions and give you the floor, because that's why you're here, let me just introduce you a bit more to our audience so that they understand who they're talking to.
Thank you.
Olanrewaju, if you don't mind, I usually resort to first names. It makes it easier after that.
That's okay.
Particularly, I'm afraid of Juliet's surname. Yeah. I run away. Ikhayere can be a tongue twister. So from now on, it will be Juliet and it will be Olanrewaju. Let me start with Olanrewaju. He is a development architect, a public affairs practitioner, a communications specialist, and regulatory sector development advocate with a passion for promoting innovation and excellence. He graduated from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, with a bachelor's and a master's degree in mass communication. He holds a certificate in branding from the University of London and participated in the Senior Missions Leadership course at the National Defense College in Nigeria. He graduated from the Redeemed Bible College in 2001 with an advanced diploma in theology. Currently, he is a principal partner at Enrogel Optimum Synergy Limited, a corporate solutions and innovation-driven consultancy firm. He is the author of the Nigeria Regulatory Agencies Directory and the publisher of the Regulatory World magazine. He is a Ron Courts Fellow for Social Entrepreneurship and an alumnus of the United States Cultural Exchange Program, through which he served for over a decade as the president of the International Visitors Leadership Program Alumni Association. Olanrewaju has had a long and distinguished career. If I continue to read your bio, we shall stay here the whole day. Let me just say that he's also been a strong advocate for road safety and has worked extensively for many years in support of safety on our roads and has many, many wonderful accomplishments in that area. He has done so many other things, and my apologies that we cannot go through it all. But let me say that he is, as he says, an ardent lover of Nigeria, and he believes that with good leadership, Nigeria will take its rightful position in the world. That is music to our ears. Olanrewaju, welcome to the set.
It's my pleasure for being here. Thank you, ma'am. Hello, Nigerians.
Great. And I turn to Juliet. Let me say, as I prepped for the show, Olanrewaju's CV was that long, and my Juliet, I've already adopted you. See, when I see a young lady, a young person, I immediately adopt them and become a mom. Her own was short, showing you that it's not been a very long lifespan, but it's been a lifespan that's been rich, and you have excelled in many things within that short time. So Juliet is a Kubwa FCT born lady of Edo parentage. She graduated with a bachelor's degree from the University of Benin at a very young age. I wouldn't even say how young, under 20. Subsequently, she read law at the Enugu State University, after which she attended the Nigerian Law School and was called to bar as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This young legal practitioner is also a politician. She is aspiring to the Legislative House of Reps under the platform of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. She is currently doing a master's degree in maritime law. And in February 2022, she contested for a seat as a councillor to represent the people of Kubwa at the Bwari Area Council. She is the principal partner of Macom's J. Attorneys, and her interest revolves around advocacy, corporate progress, politics, youths, women, and child development. Her very last activity is this courageous decision to contest in the election. Let me say that Olanrewaju is contesting for Senate position under the platform of the Social Democratic Party. So we will try, as you can see, today with us we have SDP, we have ADC. A few weeks ago, we had somebody from the gubernatorial, which was Labour. And so we will try our best to bring the various parties and give candidates the opportunity to speak to our people. Olanrewaju, Juliet, you're welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure being here again.
And so the show is yours. And I'm going to start. For me, unlike the conventional debates or press interviews and so on, what's for us on the stage is critical. We want to see the humanity in you. I personally feel that that is what will save our country. We want leaders with a heart.
That's true.
Until we can find leaders of integrity, leaders who want to share, leaders who understand the needs, leaders who have to be capable. We're a country of over 200 million. It should not be a problem to find capable people.
It shouldn't.
So you must combine a heart with ability. And therefore, those are the two bottom line things we're really looking for. Everybody who has the courage to come out must internally first reaffirm to yourself that you have these qualities, vie for the position, and when you get it, honor your vows to us. And so in line with that, my first question, as indeed I had posed to the others I had interviewed before this, to both of you, is, what does love of country mean to you? For you, as you vow for senatorial position, as you vow for your position at the it's at the federal FCT level. What does it mean for you to say, it is a hope, of course, that it is because you love this country? What does love of country mean for you? And how are you going to demonstrate that if you win the position? Who would like to start?
Thank you, Madam. Love of country means understanding the purpose for which your country was created, or for which it exists. Like Miles Monroe said, when the purpose of a thing is not known, then abuse is inevitable. I do believe that Nigeria is not just a contraption that was made by accident. I do believe that God had a hand in allowing the colonialists to define Nigeria by the current geographical map. And I do believe that there's a reason why God has deposited so much wealth on the soil of this country. And I do believe that there's a purpose why Nigeria is the most populous Black African race. And I do believe that the destiny of every Black man is woven into the destiny of Nigeria. So, to watch such a country, blessed as she is blessed, endowed as she's endowed, to continually suffer because of poor leadership, I believe that love of the country means that I should step forward and do whatever I can to change the narrative and then to allow Nigeria to be unleashed on the world. The world is actually waiting for a Nigeria that will make the Black race anywhere in the world, Black Americans, Black Brazilians, Black, wherever they are found, to say, wait a minute, it's time to go back home. And that home is Nigeria.
Amen.
That's my desire. And that's what love of country means for me.
Beautifully said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Juliet.
For me, love of country is identifying the issues and not running away from them, but finding possible ways to solve those problems. And it doesn't just mean when you actually run for office. It means at every point in time when you find yourself in a country, in a particular space, you just see yourself as a solution provider and stepping out there to show more humanitarian service, your principles, display them. I think that's love for country. I would say this because all my life, I've always understood one thing. I never even knew I would run for office one day. But like they say, some leaders are born, some leaders are called, and some actually develop leadership skills. So for me, all my years of life since the age of 15, I found myself in positions whereby I serve in school without expecting anything, as a vice president, as a Congress member, as even an entrepreneur, serving people, giving them the required goods down to the doorsteps with integrity. And then later on went to study law, the moot court director, the legal clinic director, the ASG, and then to the law school, the group leader. There you're managing over 150 persons from different walks of life. And all we're seeing over the years was that we just display character for service, ability to accommodate people. Where there's a problem, you're thinking on your feet, applying wisdom, and integrating people together. And when the opportunity came for me to actually run for office, it was now for me to just fall in place, and that's being a solution provider. In Cuba world where I ran, there hasn't been any woman who has ever run for office in such manner. People thought we were even running for the seat of a president. We were able to engage, sensitize people, because here in the FCT, it's so unfortunate. People just come here and call themselves visitors, forgetting that they give birth to kids here, raise their kids here, and then they actually partake in the infrastructures that are in place, the little, and which could even be improved upon, but nobody cares. So stepping into that position when the opportunity came was very easy for me, because I see myself as a person that would not just cry or lament, but will put myself out there no matter what happens, just like the biblical Esther who says, if I perish, I perish. It doesn't matter if I'm a woman. It just matters if I can be able to display the kind of wisdom that my people need. And so for me, that's love for country, stepping out there, identifying the issues and being the solution.
Well said. Stepping out there, identifying the issues, the problem your community may have, and doing your best to be the solution and integrating people. And Olanrewaju says he recognizes the greatness of this country. He's so proud of his country. He wants this country to be a beacon to all the Black people everywhere, because it is great and because that is the God-given purpose for it. Great. Did I summarize your point?
Absolutely.
Great. So I will move on to the next thing. Love of country. Let me also add that unifying us to be able to do that is such an important thing. Because until we feel one, we feel united and patriotic, it might be difficult to achieve
that.
And so as you go into office, it will be good. It will be another thing to, again, that unity, that forgiveness, that bringing together is so important. And so it leads directly to my next question, really, which is, I call it the common good. Perhaps our common bounty. You can call it what you want. What do you, for you, what does that mean? And I call it the common good or the common, from two perspectives. One, that the resource, Olanrewaju had implied that, plentiful resources that exist. But also, so how would you ensure, that is my question, our common good? In your position in your office, whether as in the Senate or in the council, for you, what does it mean? How would you try to make it a reality?
The reason why I'm running for Senate actually is the nexus you just, broached now. Every part of Nigeria has a mantra. Center of excellence, jewel in the savannah, spring of, sunshine state. FCT is center of unity. But the more you look, the more you see a unity that is very delicate. And as long as we continue our journey on the premise of this very slender, very tender, very delicate unity that is waiting to explode with any little opportunity, the hope of greatness will be unachievable. And it looks like Nigeria is a microcosm, that FCT is like a microcosm of Nigeria. As it is here, so it is everywhere in Nigeria. Our unity is so tender, so fragile. Because if unity is not based on equity, fairness, justice, truth, then it can't be our common bounty. It's a bounty of a few people who, by the reason of the privileged office they occupy, have arrogated majority of what belongs to all of us to themselves and their children unborn. And the marginalized, the undermined, and the trampled upon, one day will come back to fight. And when that happens, that's what Chinua Achebe calls turning and turning the winding gyre. The falcon cannot hear the falconer, things fall apart, and the center cannot hold. So I don't want things to fall apart. I want the center to be able to hold. And FCT is the center of Nigeria. So if you can just demonstrate the capacity to bring unity into baking the cake, because we think of eating the cake. We don't think of baking the cake. But if we can actually make this cake bigger, and then everyone can have bigger slice, bigger chunk, for us to enjoy in an atmosphere of unity and joy and gladness and oneness. And like Martin Luther called it, the symphony of brotherhood, that we know that we're all one. Whether we're from the south, from the east, from the west, and the original indigenes of FCT that we are one. And that what we ought to enjoy is a symphony of brotherhood. But currently, what we have is a discordant tone. And this discord is caused by lack of good leadership. That instead of galvanizing the people together, I've tried to fritter us away and say, you are Igbo, this is not for you. You are Yoruba, this is not for you. You are Hausa, this is not for you. You are Edo, you are Kalabari. I am a senator for original indigene of FCT. That already brings division. So I'm running for Senate in the FCT by the grace of God as a candidate of the Social Democratic Party to make that mantra of center of unity not to be a mere slogan, but to be an ethos, a lifestyle, a covenant that we all allude to, that we are going to work together with one bond to manifest it for even the blind to see that these are truly a united people on a mission to make FCT the capital, the dream capital of every black man across the world. So that's what it means to me.
A living example of the fact that Nigerians can coexist.
We can.
Can coexist?
We actually do. We do in the market. We do in the market. We do in the school. The only area where we're not doing is in the political arena, and it's on purpose. So there's a class that saw that as a way to continue to aggravate the little division that exists in between us. But in their class, division. Yes, in their class, they are united. They are not divided. In their class, there's nothing like ethnicity.
True.
There's nothing like religion. Even class. You see senator flowing with honorable, flowing with governor, flowing with president. In their class, they are one. But they want to divide us, to rule us, so that they can continue to have the country locked down and hinder the opportunity of greatness from ever manifesting for the whole country. Because when it manifests for the whole country, then their power base is broken. You have lived abroad, man. A constable in the US, police is not afraid to enter into University of Harvard to arrest a professor. A clerk or a cashier in Walmart drives the car, his or her car to office, just the way, Nollywood star or Hollywood star. So it's a leveler. When there's good governance, you have a leveling environment that I don't need to defer to you or say Rankadede or beg or worship you. And they don't want that to happen. So that's why they have hijacked the country and they want to continue to run it down so that we can come to kneel down at their feet and beg for crumbs. And then they make 4-year cycle of turning us against each other because they want to continue to hold.
To be in power.
To power.
Very interesting. We'll come back to you. What about you, Juliet? What's the common good for you?